Hey, Dave, how's it going,
What's
brother?
happening, bud?
Not much. Hey, first of all, congrats on great cover story on Rebecca Resch there in Glory Days.
Oh,
this
thanks,
week.
man.
I'm telling you, she's unbelievable. I know I was coaching the Galley Township Middle School softball team for a couple of years there, and she's carried us to a couple of titles. But great family, great kiddo, and she's the real deal, man. She can do it all on the field. She's unbelievable.
We actually got her mom, Karen, coming on after you.
Oh, nice.
Little conversation.
And from what I understand, Mom was a stud too. I didn't get to see her play, but from what I understand, Mom could hit it around the field too.
Yeah, I think I'll have to ask her. I know she might be in the Hall of Fame there for Absecon, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think she was a heck of a player from what I understand.
So the apple didn't fall far from the tree there.
Exactly. And to talk about a segue, the big bro Drew Resch was a Absecon ACBLer.
Oh, is he? Okay, I know he was dealing with some injuries over there at
He's a little dinged up this year. Yeah, he
Yeah.
hasn't made it out this year. He's a little dinged up. He's had some rough luck with the injuries up there at Ursinus, but he's still a nice little player himself.
Oh, yeah, I remember covering him a couple years ago. Absecon, he had a great couple years with the Braves.
Yeah, absolutely. Now he's a good guy.
So give our listeners an update of ACBL. I know we're about a month away from the championship round, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was going to say it's coming up quick. We're only a couple of weeks away from the first round of playoffs. It's a competitive league. I'm obviously biased, but the league just seems to keep getting better and better and better. I know we've been right there these last few years. We're trying to break through still. I know Margate and Hamilton have reached the finals the last few years here, but we've been third place in the regular season the last handful of years, and trying to catch our little breakthrough, get our pitching going at the right time. It gets a little bit tricky in this league with guys going back to college and pitching and playing in different leagues and stuff like that. But we're getting there. We're definitely getting there, trying to knock down the door of those guys.
I try to keep up with it a little bit on Facebook with Jason Law bragging about all his home runs.
Yeah, Jay's he's been a consistent guy in this league, and I'll put my team up there with anybody. Obviously we've proven it the last few years we can play with everybody, and we've got as much talent as anybody. But I will say that Margate Hurricanes lineup, offensively at least, is and obviously I haven't been around for the 100 years of the league, but that might be the best offense that the league's ever seen in terms of having 6 or 7 former professional baseball players in the lineup. Then they had a guy, Johnny Monell, that was playing as high as AAA last year, the year before.
Yeah, not a bad pickup.
Oh, it's an unbelievable lineup. Like when we played them, the second time we played them, we lost 4-1, and it was their 10-hitter that beat us with a 3-run home run. I mean,
Wow.
that happened to be Monty. Yeah, it was Monty Strickland who, is having a big-time career up at Rowan University. He had 3 home runs the other day. I mean, they have power for days. There is no weak spots in that lineup, I will say.
So who's leading the Absecon squad?
We've had a consistent group here. We've actually got a little bit of an arms race ourselves in terms of power. Big guy Ray Keelan, lefty at the plate. He's tough as dirt. People keep asking me how to pitch this guy, and there's just nowhere to pitch him. He hits with power and average to all fields. He's hitting up over 600. Same thing, another guy, Danny Allen's been hitting well for us. Those guys each have 4 or 5 home runs, and then we were lucky enough with EHT dropping its team this year. We were lucky enough to add Gio Contreras, who's locals know Gio too. He's been good in the league for a lot of years. He's got a handful of home runs for us. Those 3 are kind of joking around that they're going for the home run title. A lot of really talented dudes. Matty Allen, Danny's brother. CJ Lafregola, I know I got to get my wrestling guys in there. CJ misses the occasional game with, he wrestles in university nationals and things like that, but CJ's been doing an awesome job at shortstop for us. Young guy Justin McFadden, Cedar Creek guy, as well as outgoing Cedar Creek coach Ed Truitt there. We've got a lot of good local talent, and like I said, we've been right there for years trying to get the pitching in order. Ryan Johnson, Oakcrest guy, people will know him. He's been pitching really well for us, as has young guy Ethan Schuster from Middle Township. Mike Diani's back. Matty Allen's pitching really well. Gio Contreras is pitching really well. We're, like I said, we're right there. We can definitely get those guys. We play the way we should be.
So you're saying my boy Truitt can still play a little ball?
Truitt can still sling it, man. I'll tell you what. He's still, and it's funny because all kidding aside, like I joke around, and that's my George Seifert, Mike Holmgren coaching tree with some of these guys. Like I know Sean Olson, the Oakcrest coach, played for us. Ed Truitt played for us. A lot of these guys have gone out and coached. But Truitt, since the time he's played for us as I believe a senior in high school, he came right out, and he was like telling the older guys like what they were doing wrong on the mound and stuff like that. Like, he was just made to coach. Truett's a great baseball mind, heck of a great guy too. But he's made to coach. He really is.
Talking with John O'Kane. He coaches the Absecon team in the ACBL. And John, how many more weeks of regular season? 2 more weeks?
2 weeks, and it's going to get a little rough because we all have so many rainouts randomly. It's been a little bit drier this month, but that last couple weeks of May, early June there killed us all. I know I've got 3 games to make up in only 2 weeks, so that's going to make for a 4 or 5 game week here these last couple weeks, so it'll get tough.
Now, how did you guys finish up last year in the playoffs?
Playoffs, once again, we went to took Margate to 3 games in the semifinals. I think we've been to the semifinals 5 out of the last 6 years, I want to say. We really are right there. Last year, I know we were 24-3 overall in the regular season, but again, regular season, doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, at this point. It's nice and everything, but we're kind of to the point where we're looking to make deep postseason runs. But yeah, we went right to the 3rd game with Margate. We took the 1st game, and then they took the last 2. Depending on how the seeds fall this year, it looks like us and Northfield are kind of battling for the 3 seed. I would say we have a little bit of an edge there. With Margate, will probably finish as the 1. I know Hamilton beat them last night, but Margate will still finish as the 1 and Hamilton too. So, it looks like if we do finish in that 3 spot, maybe us and Hamilton in that semifinals, which would be a heck of a battle. I know Sammy Rodeo and I always joke around that if we've played 20 times in the last 5-6 years, I don't remember ever a time where it wasn't a 1-run game. And they're a great team too. Talk about pitching staff. My gosh, they got a guy, Ryan Kulik. They've always been good. Brad Mountain, Kevin Baxter, Billy Jackson. They've got pitching for days. And then you throw Ryan Kulik in there, who again was pitching as high as AA, AAA with the St. Louis Cardinals a couple years ago. Ended the season last year with the Camden River Sharks in the Atlantic League. Guy is just another brutal left-hander in this league. He's a tough out.
Yeah, we're talking with John O'Kane from Absecon ACBL. And John, you mentioned some of these names, and obviously if you're a baseball fan in the area, you know these guys. And if you're a casual baseball fan, you haven't seen any ACBL games, man, there's some outstanding competition out there. I know I've been to the championship series the last couple of years, and, man, some of these guys are just, you're having guys. I think Cox the one year was throwing about 92, 93 in that championship game, and Baxter last year, great performance against Margate to give Hamilton the title. I mean, you're talking about some really high-level baseball.
It really is. And, I know, obviously, I keep saying I'm biased, but if anybody wants to see some good baseball, the games are free. We don't charge anything. Plenty of good seats available. I know Absecon's a fun place to watch it in terms of you park out in there in left field. You can watch the game from the outfield or come on up and talk to the guys. We have some young guys from my son Sean's baseball team jump in and play a little bat boy role once in a while. It really is. And Margate, I'll be honest, it's a great place to watch a game. I'd move their fences back 40 feet if I had my way, but that's okay. But you're right. I mean, it's just talent for days. Like I said, Margate, and I hate to give those guys too much credit because we're going to be trying to beat them here in a couple of weeks, but they literally, they've got 6 or 7 guys that have been paid to play baseball. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 guys, I want to say, that have been playing affiliated baseball in the last 2 years. And none of this includes Eric Fitzgerald, who is, for my money, is probably the best hitter in the league in terms of just power average. I mean, they really do 1 through 10. And then they've even got young guys now. They throw a guy like Jordan Sweeney, all-state player. They've got some good young guys that kind of come off the bench and learn from the older guys. So it really is an unbelievably talented league. Like I said, my 3, 4, 5 hitters all right now have 4, 5, 6 home runs in a 15-game stretch. Like these guys are hitting for some real power. I've got 3 or 4 guys touching 90 miles an hour. I know Margate has a couple. They've got their horses, Jason Downey and Jared Lanko, but then they add somebody like Mike Adams who's throwing 92, 93 in there. AJ Holland is coming back. He pitched for him last night, I want to say. He was pitching for the Atlanta Braves organization 2 or 3 years ago before playing professionally in Australia. So it really is an unbelievably talented league. It's not just, anybody that thinks it's kind of a beer league is mistaken. There's some big time baseball. There's a lot of guys throwing, upper 80s, low 90s, a lot of hitters with power. It's some really good baseball. It really, truly is.
I tell you what, I joke a little bit about Jason Law, but a great dude, and, man, I love watching him and Evangelist hit back-to-back, those lefty swings, man, some sweet swings.
Scotty's another one, man. He's been an underrated player in this league for a lot of years. Scotty's been a great player. Another guy I love over there. Man, I'm throwing a lot of compliments to Margate. I hope some of those guys are listening.
It's a strategy. You're trying to butter them up and make them feel good about themselves, and then they go out and beat them.
That's exactly right. Those guys, I'm sure, know me as kind of a kind of a jerk on the field, I'll say. Yeah. But yeah, Pat Goodwin's another one. Pat Goodwin's another guy.
Yep.
Didn't play affiliated ball, but had a great career at Holy Spirit. Really bloomed at Stockton. Heck of a tough player. Fitzgerald. And I do, it's funny. I love battling with him. He's a couple years older than me, and 10 times better shape than me. But Jason Law, man, great guy. He worked with my son a little bit on his swing. I know he does a nice job with the lessons over there. Really good guy. Really knows his stuff. I kind of he's kind of new school in terms of, you got to hit the baseball with power, do some damage, that kind of thing. And anybody that's watched him swing over the years knows he's not looking for bloop singles.
Now he calls it the laser show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's not looking to bloop him into the opposite field or anything like that. He's looking to do damage to the baseball, rip the cover off it. But I like the way he talks. He knows his stuff.
Awesome. Good stuff as always, John. We appreciate you taking a few minutes, keeping us up to date on ACBL, and we'll see you out there soon. Let's see if your boys can shock the world this summer.
Absolutely. And if I could, I'm the king of the shameless plug here, but I got to say happy birthday, first of all, to my 8-year-old daughter, Callie. She's, she gets drugged all over the baseball field and things like that. She's the #1 fan. And then my son, Sean's actually playing in our Galloway U 10U All-Star team is playing up at the the Runners Blast tournament at Legends Ballpark up in Sewell. Won a big game last night. Team is looking to make a nice little run here today. We got another game up there at noon. Hopefully we do well today and jump into the medal rounds tomorrow, so to speak.
All right, well, after all this afternoon baseball, take your daughter out and get her a nice dinner.
That's exactly right.
Thanks, Oak. Appreciate it as always, man. Stay in touch.
Thanks, Dave. Always good talking to you, man. Like I said, keep up the great work with Glory Days. Doing a heck of a job, man.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you.
That was John O'Kane, formerly of the Press of Atlantic City. He's also coaching the ACBL team out of Absecon, so we'll catch up with him later in the summer and